All right, this is going to be my ranking of the top 100 NBA players after the 2024 NBA season. Let's get started. Starting off with some honorable mentions, I got Kyle Kuzma, Tobias Harris, Onyeka Okongwu, Obi Toppin, Derek Lively, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Ivica Zubac, Jakob Poeltl, Jalen Suggs, and Jabari Smith. Getting started off at number 100 is going to be Brandon Miller. Came in the year unranked, had a really good season, averaging about 17 points per game as a rookie. Really good season for him. Number 99 is going to be Daniel Gafford. He was doing really good, averaged about 11 and 8 with 2 blocks a game. Was also really good in the postseason. Number 98 is going to be Nikola Vucevic. You know, pretty solid season, averaging 18 and 11 for him on 48 and 30 splits. Number 97 is going to be Yusuf Nurkic, averaging about 11 and 11 with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Certainly a pretty solid player this year. Number 96 is going to be Clint Capella. Um, for him, he's averaging about 12 points, 11 boards with 1.5 blocks a game, pretty efficiently as well. 95 is going to be Deni Avdija, averaging about 15, 7, and 4 on 51, 37 splits. Certainly a good year for him. 94 is going to be Herb Jones. He was doing pretty good this year, averaging about 11 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, 1.5 steals on 50-42 splits. 93 is going to be Kelly Oubre, averaging about 15, 5, and 2 with 1 steal a game on 44-31 splits. Not the most efficient, but still a really good quality player. Number 92 is going to be Malik Monk. He was averaging about 15, 5, and 3 on 44-35 splits. Really solid performances from him this season. 91 is going to be Isaiah Hartenstein, actually. A really good surprise on this list here, averaging about 8 and 8 with 2 assists, a steal, and a block, and was really good in the postseason as well. Number 90 is going to be Josh Hart. He ended up averaging 9, 8, and 4 on 43-31 splits. Also, was really, really good in the postseason for New York. Number 89 is going to be Bobby Portis, who averaged about 14, 7 on 51-41 splits. Really good year for him. Really good in the postseason as well. Number 88 is going to be Norman Powell. He averaged about 14, 3, and 1 assist on 49-44 splits. One of the most efficient players all season long. Really good performance from him this year, and definitely earned a spot in the top 100. Number 87 is going to be Kobe White. He averaged about 19, 5, and 5 on 45-38 splits. He had a really good year this year. Did play a lot of minutes compared to some of these other guys, so that's kind of why it's a little lower than you might think based off his pure counting stats. Number 86 is going to be Cam Thomas, who averaged about 22 points per game with 3 boards with 3 assists on 44-36 splits. Really good scorer, not much help, but certainly a top 100 player in the league. 85 is going to be Klay Thompson, dropped 34 spots this year. Not a good look for that, but still averaging 18, 3, and 2 on 43-39 splits, which is pretty solid, but there's not much more outside of a scorer and a shooter at this point. Number 84 is going to be Jalen Green. He was doing really good this year towards the end of the season, averaging about 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game, but pretty inefficient at 42 and 33%. Number 83 is going to be Terry Rozier, averaging about 26 and 4 with 1 steal a game on 44-36 splits, doing a really, really solid, season this year. Number 82 is going to be Jalen Johnson, who averaged about 16, 9, and 4 assists a game on 51-36 splits. Really good year from him. Very much a surprise to see that. Number 81 is going to be Keegan Murray, averaging 15, 6, and 2 with 1 steal a game, shooting 45 and 36%. So definitely better than I thought it was going to be this year, but I did project him to be a top 100 player. Number 80 is going to be Brook Lopez. He had a really solid season. A little worse than I thought it was going to be, but still 13, 5, and 2 assists with 2.5 blocks on 49-37 splits is a really good season for somebody who is 35 years old. Number 79 is Tyler Hero. 21 points, 5 boards, 5 assists on 44-40 splits. Really good score, really efficiently as well. Number 78 is going to be Emmanuel Quickley. He averaged about 17, 4, and 5 assists a game on 43-40 splits. Really good scorer and a pretty solid facilitator at that too. Very efficient as well. Number 7 is going to be D'Angelo Russell, averaged about 18, 6, and 3 rebounds on 46, 42 splits. Not very good in the postseason, which is kind of why I ranked him a lot lower coming into the season because he was so bad last postseason. But it was definitely better this year than he was last year. Number 76 is going to be Naz Reid, best bench player this year. Earns him spot in the top 76, which is pretty good for a bench player, to say the least. Averaging 14.5 with 1 steal, 1 block on 48, 41 splits, and was really good in the postseason as well. Number 75 is going to be Darius Garland. Took a really big fall this year. I thought he was going to be, nearly an all-star this year. He was certainly not that. He was still good, but certainly not near as good as I thought he was going to be. Not near as good as he was last season. He still averaged about 18, 7, and 3 with 1.3 steals on 45, 37 splits, which is pretty solid, but nowhere near all-star status. Number 74 is going to be Dante DiVincenzo here. He averaged about 16, 4, and 3 with 1 steal a game on 44, 40 splits, and was amazing in the postseason. Number 73 is going to be Devin Vassell, averaging about 24 and 4 with 1 steal a game on 47 and 37 splits. Took a really big leap this year, which was really good to see. Number 72 is going to be DeAndre Ayton. Had a pretty solid year this year. Not quite as good as I thought he was going to be. I did think he was going to average 20-plus points a game. He only averaged about 17, which is still good, but not quite as good as what I thought he was going to do. Still 17-11 with 1 steal and 1 block a game on 57% from the field is a really good season. Number 71 is going to be Nick Claxton, who averaged about 12, 10, and 2 with 2 blocks a game as well on 63% shooting. Still a really good defensive player. Definitely thought he was going to average close to 16 points rather than 12, so he's a little bit lower than I thought he was going to be. Number 70 is Franz Wagner. He had a pretty solid season, still not quite as good as I thought he was going to have. Averaged about 20 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists with 1 steal a game, but only shot 28% from 3, which I definitely thought he was going to shoot significantly better than that, which would have definitely made him a lot higher on this list. Number 69, nice, is going to be Mike Conley, averaging about 11, 6, and 3 with 1 steal a game on 46, 44 splits, and only 29 minutes a game. Was also really, really good in the postseason as well. Definitely earned himself a spot back up here in the top 100. Number 68 is going to be Jaren Jackson, one of the biggest falls this year. Fell 45 spots from the beginning of the year. I believe he was the defensive player of the year last year, right? And I think I thought he was going to have a lot better years than he did. So definitely disappointing from him, considering he's only 24 years old and he had a significantly worse season than he did the year before. Not a good look. Still a solid season, though, averaging 23, 6, and 2 with 1.2 steals and 1.6 blocks. But your starting center should not be averaging less than 6 rebounds a game. Number 67 is going to be OG Anunoby. Had a pretty good year, averaging 15, 4, and 2 with 1.4 steals, shooting 49 and 38% from 3. Had a pretty good postseason as well. Number 66 is going to be Jrue Holiday. I thought he was going to be, number 38 at the beginning of the year. Dropped 28 spots. Thought he was going to average still close to 16 or so points a game. He only averaged about 12 points a game this year. Certainly dropped him down quite a bit of spots with that, but still about 12 points, 5 boards, 5 assists with 1 steal and a block. Pretty efficiently as well. Won an NBA championship. Still one of the better players in the league this year. Number 65 is going to be Miles Bridges. He averaged about 21, 7, and 3 assists this year on 46, 35 splits. Did not have him ranked at the beginning of the year. He also was supposed to be suspended for a while, and he was. So that's partially why I did not have him ranked, but still, he was definitely better than I thought he was going to be this season. Number 64 is going to be Fred VanVleet. He was pretty good this year. Averaged about 17, 8, and 4 with 1.4 steals a game on 42, 39 splits. Number 63 is going to be Jeremy Grant. Averaged 21, 4, and 3 on 45 and 40 splits. Just comes in a few spots higher than what I had him at the beginning of the year. Number 62 is Julius Randle. Only fell 12 spots, so not a horrible fall off from him this year. Still 24 points, 9 boards, 5 assists with really good numbers, but also had 3.5 turnovers. Only 31% on threes, not that good. And his advanced stats were all pretty bad. Number 61 is Aaron Gordon. Averaged 14, 7, and 4 on 56, 29 splits. So pretty good year from him. 3-4 percentage a little bit down, but I was still right around the exact same spot, only 1 spot away from where he was at the beginning of the year. Number 60 is going to be Miles Turner. He had a pretty solid year this year. Jumps up 22 spots from where he was. He averaged 17-7 with almost 2 blocks a game in only 27 minutes on 52-36 splits, and was really good in the postseason as well. Number 59 is going to go to Chet Holmgren. He averaged about 17, 8, and 2 with 2.3 blocks a game. Jumps up 22 spots from where I had him at the beginning of the year, but then again, he's a rookie who hadn't played, so I didn't want to rank him too high, but he was really, really good and still exceeded my expectations for him in year one. Number 58, it's going to be Jonas Valanciunas. He also jumps up 22 spots, a lot better than I thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year. Averaged about 12 points and 9 boards with 2 assists on 56-31 splits, but was absolutely amazing in the playoffs, averaging about 16 and 14 really efficiently as well. Number 57 is going to be Anthony Simons, who averaged about 23, 6, and 4 on 43-39 splits. I was right about the exact same place where I had him at the beginning of the season. All right, number 56 is going to be Michael Porter Jr. He had a pretty good year like he usually does. Comes in 17 spots higher than I had him at the beginning of the year, actually. He averaged 17, 7, and 2 on 48, 40 splits. Really good year from him this year. 55 is Chris Middleton, just about where I had him last year, averaging 15, 5, and 5 on 49-38 splits, but was really, really good in the postseason. Number 54 is going to be R.J. Barrett. Jumps up 33 spots. Really, really good jump from him. Had a lot better season this year than I thought he was going to have. He averaged 20 points per game, with 5 boards and 3 assists on 50 and 36% from 3. Really good year from R.J. Barrett. A lot better than I thought he was going to do. Number 53 is going to be Bradley Beal. Slightly worse than I thought, but pretty close to the same spot, only dropping 9 there, averaging 18, 5, and 4 on 51-43 splits. Number 52 is going to be Brandon Ingram. Again, pretty close to where I had him last year, only 6 spots lower than he was at the beginning of this season. He averaged about 21, 5, and 6 assists on 49-36 splits. Really solid year. Not a good postseason, though, which definitely drops him a few spots. Number 51 is Austin Reeves, right around where I had him last year, averaging about 16, 6, and 4 rebounds a game on 49-37 splits. Number 50 is going to be Jalen Duren. I did not have him ranked at the beginning of the year, so he jumped up a lot of spots, very minimum 60 spots, because he got 100 players plus 10 honorable mentions, so he jumped up at least 60 spots this year. Really good for him. He was not really on my radar to be a top 100 player at the beginning of the season, but he definitely proved me wrong, which is really good to see for Jalen Duren, averaging 14, 12, 2 assists on 62% shooting as a 20-year-old is really, really good stats. Number 49 is Derek White, who jumped out 51 spots. He barely made the crack at it last season, or at the beginning of the season, and now he's solidified himself as a top 50 player, in my opinion. Really good jump from him, averaging 15, 5, and 4 with 1 steal and 1 block on 46, 40, 90 splits. Really good year from him. Offensively and defensively, and a really good postseason as well. 48 is going to be Cade Cunningham, right about where I had him at the beginning of the year, averaging about 23, 8, and 4 on 45-36 splits. Really good year from him. 47 is going to be C.J. McCollum, who jumped up about 36 spots. He averaged about 20 points, 5 assists, 4 boards on 46-43 splits. Do not expect him to be a 24 per game scorer this season, probably at closer to around 16 is where I was going to project him, but he definitely proved me wrong and was very, very efficient this season as well. Number 46 is Mikal Bridges, drops a little bit from where he was last year, about 9 spots lower, but still a top 50 player, averaging 20 points, 5 boards, 4 assists with 1 steal a game, shooting pretty good at 44 and 37% from 3. Number 45 is going to be Desmond Bane, right about where I had him at the beginning of the year, averaging about 24, 6, and 4 rebounds a game with 1 steal at 46-38 splits. Number 44 is Rudy Gobert, jumped up 26 spots. He was not very good last year. Last year was certainly a down year for him, and he kind of rejuvenated himself this year. He won Defensive Player of the Year, had a bad postseason, which dropped him a little bit more than he would have been after the regular season, but still way, way better than he was after last season. He averaged roughly about 14 and 13 this year with 2 blocks a game, so can't really complain too much about that. 43 is DeJounte Murray, about 10 spots lower than he was at the beginning of the year, averaged about 23, 6, and 5 with 1.4 steals on a 46-36% from 3. Pretty good splits from him, really good player this season. 42 is Scottie Barnes, jumped up about 10 spots this year, was an all-star, I do believe, which is really good to see from Scottie Barnes, averaging about 20 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, with roughly 1.5 steals and blocks on 48-34 splits. Really good from him. Only could expect him to continue to get better and be a perennial all-star going forward. 41 is going to be Collin Sexton, actually jumped up 48 spots. He had a really, really underrated season this year. He averaged about 19 points and 5 assists in only 26 minutes a game. If he plays 36 minutes, he's averaging 25 and 7 a game this season, which is really, really good, especially considering he shot 49 and 39% from the field and from 3. An amazing, efficient season from Collin Sexton, and a very, very underrated season at that. Number 40 is going to be Evan Mobley, right around where he was last season, only 1 spot higher. He had a really good year this year, especially in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he averaged about 16, 9, and 3 with 1 steal and 1.5 blocks on 58-37% shooting from 3. Number 39 is going to be Trae Young. He drops about 10 spots as well as DeJounte Murray's teammates. So the Hawks had their top 2 players dropped each about 10 spots here in my rankings. He was about 26 points a game and 11 assists, but he also had 4.5 turnovers, which is not very good, on 43-37% shooting from 3. Still pretty decent efficiency, but I'd like to see that get a little bit higher from the field. But still a very, very good offensive player. His defense is just not that good. Number 38 is going to be Jarrett Allen, who actually jumped up 5 spots from last season. And with these rankings, I have him as the second best player on the Cleveland Cavaliers, ahead of Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. But he averaged about 17 and 11 with 1 block a game and 3 assists on 63% shooting from the field. Number 37 is going to be Alperen Sengun, who jumped up 34 spots, averaged 21, 9, and 5 on 54 and 30 splits from 3. Would like to see his 3-point percentage get a little bit higher, but still a really good season for somebody who's only 21 years old. Number 36 is going to be Jamal Murray. Dropped down about 10 spots from last year. He had an amazing postseason last year, which is kind of why he was a little bit higher than he probably should have been coming into this season. And he did not exactly have the best postseason this year. So if he would have had a postseason this year that matched what he did last year, he likely would be a lot closer to number 26. But still, number 36 is a really good spot to be at. He averaged 21, 7, and 4 with 1 steal a game on 48-43 splits. Just kind of had an underwhelming postseason to go along with it. 35 is going to be Jalen Williams, who jumped up 37 spots. He's only 22 years old, and he's already, already averaging a lot of points this season, dude. Sorry. He's only 22 years old, and he's averaging 19 points, 5 assists, 4 boards, 1 steal on 54-43 splits from 3. An amazing efficient season from him. Only can assume he's going to continue to get better and be a perennial all-star in the next couple of years. Number 34 is Bam Adebayo, right around where he was last year. Only jumped up about 2 spots. Really good year from him. 19, 10, and 4 with 1 steal and 1 block at 52-36 splits. Number 33 is Karl-Anthony Towns. Jumps down about 11 spots, so not the best look there, but still averaging 22, 8, and 3 on 50-42 splits is really good from him. His defensive numbers, advanced stats, do not look very good, but offensively, he's a really good player still. Number 32 is Lauri Markkanen, right about where he was last season, drops only 2 spots. He had a really good year this year as well, averaging roughly 23, 8, and 2 with 48 and 40 splits from 3. Number 31 is James Harden, drops down about 12 spots. Still a really, really good year from him, even though he's not necessarily one of the best players in the league anymore. He's still among the top 31 players, which is a really, really good, good list of guys. He's still averaging 17, 9, and 5 on 43-38 splits, and he had an amazing postseason to go along with it. Number 30 is Porzingis, who's going to be right about where he was last year, just 1 spot higher. He had a really good season this year still, averaging about 20 points, 7 boards with 2 assists and 2 blocks a game in only 30 minutes a game. 52 and 38 splits as well. Number 29 is going to be Zion Williamson, averaging 23, 6, and 5 on about 57, 33 splits. Really good year from him. Hopefully he can be, a perennial all-star, or at least close to being an all-star talent in the next couple of years, because he's certainly a very fun player to watch, and you would like to see him reach his potential. Number 28 is going to be Victor Wembanyama. Jumps up 29 spots from where he was. I probably had him a little bit low, but again, he was a rookie. Did not want to overrate him at the beginning of the season, but after one season being a top 28 player in the league is a very, very good feat from him, averaging 21, 10, 4 with 1.2 steals and 3.6 blocks on 47, 33 splits. His advanced numbers aren't very good, but he was also on the Spurs, so that kind of makes sense. But still, really good year from rookie for Victor Wembanyama. Number 27 is Paul George. Drops down about 6 spots, average about 23, 5, and 4 with 1.5 steals on 47, 41 splits. An amazing year from him still, and a really good postseason as well. Number 26 is DeMar DeRozan. Jumps up 16 spots. I thought he was going to take a little bit of a fall back year this year from last year, considering he is 34 years old, but he still had a really, really good year like he did last season, averaging about 24, 5, and 4 with 1 steal a game on 48, 33 splits is really, really good for DeMar DeRozan. Number 25 is going to be De'Aaron Fox, just 2 spots higher than he was last season, averaged about 27, 6, and 5 with 2 steals a game, 47, 37 splits. 24 is going to be Paolo Banchero, who was a second-year player being a top 25 guy in the league. Is a very, very good feat to have. He averaged about, he averaged about 23, 7, and 5 assists a game on 46, 34 splits, and was much better than that as well in the postseason. 23 is Pascal Siakam, 2 spots higher than he was at the beginning of the season, averaging about 22, 7, and 4 on 54, 35 splits, and was really good in the postseason as well. 22 is Jaylen Brown, jumps up 12 spots. He did win the Eastern Conference Finals and the Finals MVP, which certainly helps boost him quite a bit of spots here. In the regular season, he averaged about 23, 6, and 4 with over a steal a game on 50, 35 splits. Still a really good regular season, but an even better postseason. 21 is Tyrese Maxey, jumps up 44 spots. Did not expect him to take as big of a leap as he did this year, but it also kind of makes sense considering James Harden did leave and he was given the full range of the offense. But at the beginning of the year, did not exactly know that was going to happen. 26 points, 6 assists, and 4 boards with 1 steal a game on 45, 37 splits is amazing numbers, and he averaged over 30 points a game in the postseason. Number 20 is Tyrese Halliburton, drops only 2 spots here. A lot of people were surprised about how good this guy was at the beginning of the season, and I kind of predicted him to be that good at the beginning of the season, so I kind of feel good about that pick. But overall, he averaged about 20, 11, and 1 steal a game on 48, 36 from 3, and was really good in the postseason as well. Really good year for Tyrese Halliburton. Number 19 is Jimmy Butler, drops about 7 spots. He did not play in the playoffs, which probably hurts him a little bit because usually he kind of makes his stock rise quite a bit in the postseason. He did not have that option this year, though, but still number 19 is really good, averaging 21, 5, and 5 with 1.3 steals on 50, 41 splits. 41% from 3 is probably the best he's done in his career, at least close to it. It's really good to see from Jimmy Butler. Number 18 is Damian Lillard, drops from 9 down to 18. A very disappointing year from him by his standards, but still a really good year nonetheless. Average about 20 points, or 24 points, 7 assists, and 4 boards on 42, 35 splits are still really solid numbers. And he had a way better postseason than that as well. But regular season-wise, definitely disappointing for Damian Lillard's standards. Still a really good player in the league, though. Number 17 is Domantas Sabonis. Jumps up 11 spots here. He was an All-NBA player. I have him here at number 17. Really, really good year for him, averaging about 19, 14, and 8. Really good numbers there on 59, 38 splits. Number 16 is going to be Kyrie Irving. He was really good this year. Also was pretty good in the postseason. A little bit underwhelming in the finals, though, but still a really good player. Right at number 16, where I had him at the beginning of the year. He averaged about 26, 5, and 5 with 1.3 steals on 50, 41 splits. Number 15 is Donovan Mitchell, right at the same spot he was at the beginning of the season as well. He averaged about 27, 6, and 5 with almost 2 steals a game at 46-37 splits. Number 14 is going to be Stephen Curry. Definitely feels quite a bit low for somebody of Stephen Curry's caliber. He came in this season at number 4, which certainly feels closer to where he probably would be in most people's eyes. But honestly, he did not have as good of a season as he had in previous years. But number 14 is still a really good player in the league. His averages this year were still really, really good. Average about 27 points per game. 5 assists, 5 boards on 45 and 41 splits. There's kind of just a lot of other guys this year that did slightly better than Stephen Curry. So this definitely feels a little bit low, but I definitely think it's justified. Number 13 is Kawhi Leonard. Jumps up 1 spot from where he was at the beginning of the year. He averaged about 24, 4, and 6 with 1.6 steals and 1 block a game on 53-42 splits. Really good year from him. Number 12 is Jalen Brunson, who jumps up 8 spots. He had a really, really good year this year. Even though he had an amazing year last year, he took another big leap this season. He averaged roughly He averaged roughly 29, 7, and 4 on 48-40 splits, and was even better than that in the postseason, averaging over 34 points a game in the playoffs. Number 11 is Devin Booker, drops about 3 spots here. Still a really good year from him, averaging 27, 7, and 5 on 49-36% from 3. He was really good in the postseason as well. Number 10 is going to be Jason Tatum, exactly where I had him coming into last season. Really good year from him as well, averaging about 27 points a game, 5 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 steal on 47-38 splits from 3. Did have a kind of an underwhelming postseason, though, which could drop him a couple spots here. But still being a top 10 player is obviously a very, very good feat. Number 9 is going to be Kevin Durant, who drops 4 spots this year. He averaged 27, 5, and 7 boards with 1 steal and 1 block a game at 53-41 splits, and had a pretty good postseason as well. So he definitely has all the numbers there. There's just guys above him that are slightly better. All these top 10 guys, even the top 14 guys, all the way to Stephen Curry, are all very debatable and could be swapped around, a few spots here and there. I would not be upset with you. Number 8 is going to be Anthony Edwards, who jumps up 9 spots this season. Had him coming in at number 17. He looked really good in the postseason last year and in the FIBA Olympics last year, or FIBA World Cup or whatever last summer. Kind of maybe think he was going to be even better this year, and he was. He was even better than I thought he was going to be, averaging about 26, 5, and 5 with 1.3 steals on 46-36 splits, and was really, really good in the postseason as well. Number 7, it's going to be LeBron James. I had him coming in at 13. Thought he was going to take a slight dip back in his production. He did not end up doing that. At age 39, he had 26, 8, and 7 with 1.3 steals on 54 and 41% shooting from 3, and he was still absolutely amazing in his 1 playoff series that he did have. Certainly justified to still be a top 7 player at age 39 is really kind of insane to me, but still, I don't think he's the best player on his team because number 6 is actually going to be Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was absolutely amazing this year as well. He averaged about 25, 13, and 4 with 1.2 steals and 2.3 blocks on 56-27 splits, and he was really, really good in the postseason as well. Number 5 is going to be Luka Doncic. You might think this is a little bit low, probably have him top 3, most of you guys, but I think number 5 is certainly fitting for him. You could still definitely debate all these things, and I would not be too upset with you guys. But he averaged about 34, 10, and 9 with 1.4 steals on 49-38 splits, although he did play about 38 minutes a game, which is a couple more minutes than most players did. So his stats could be minorly inflated. And his postseason, although it was still really good by Luka's standards, it was still worse than his regular season numbers, which kind of hurts him there a little bit. Number 4 is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Jumps up 3 spots from where I had him at the beginning of the year. He was absolutely amazing, averaged over 30 points per game. 6 assists, 6 boards, 2 steals, 1 block on 54-35 splits, and was absolutely amazing in the postseason as well. Number 3 is going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. He had an amazing year as well, like he usually does. Averages 30 points, 12 boards, 7 assists, with 1 steal and 1 block on 61% shooting and 27% from 3. Did not play in the playoffs, which could have hurt him or helped him, but still, I think he's definitely a top 3 player in the league right now. Number 2 is going to be Joel Embiid. Like I said earlier in the center video, my cutoff for these lists was 41 games, so at least half. Embiid only played 39 games, but he is my one exception because he was only 2 games away, and he was so dominant in the games he did play. So I kind of wanted to include him in this list still. He averaged about 35, 11, and 6 with 1.2 steals and 1.7 blocks on 53-39 splits. He was good in the playoffs, but not quite as good as his regular season numbers. So that does kind of hurt him here a little bit, but he's still certainly one of the best players in the entire league. Number 1, should come to no surprise, is going to be Nikola Jokic. Absolutely amazing player. Averaged 26, 12, and 9 on 1.4 steals and 1 block a game. 58-36 splits. Amazing in the playoffs. He won the MVP for a reason. I do think he's the best player in the league. But honestly, I think your top 5 is 100% solidified between Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Luka, and Shea. You can put them in whatever order you want, but I do think that is undoubtedly the top 5 players in the league right now. Look at the guys that did not make the list, did last year. You guys can kind of look at this yourself. The NG here stands for basically not good, so you just simply weren't good enough to make the list. And obviously the I and J stands for injured. But yeah, you guys can look at that yourself. I'm not going to read that out for you because there's about 20 names there. That's going to take too long. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Make sure you have watched the rest of my videos, the point guard through center rankings, and the bench player rankings as well. And this is going to be it for these string of videos that have been coming out. Thank you for your support. Make sure to check out the rest of my videos and be on the lookout for any upcoming content.